We have a tweet going out. Okay, we should be live now. Hopefully. It was working before. I can't hear
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Can we
okay.
hear Discord?
Okay, there we go.
Testing.
Yes, okay. Everybody's going out to the stream. That is good. Hello and welcome to NoCB, a grand strategy podcast. This is for the week of the 14th of April, 2021. I am your host, Liana, and we are joined here by our awesome panel, including Lambert.
Love it.
Hello there.
Hello, yeah.
There we go. It always eats the first hello there. I don't know why.
It's-
I don't know why.
It is a bold one.
Yeah. Including Father Loris.
What's up? Hello.
And our special guest this week, returning to the show, we have DJTruthsayer.
Hello.
And Rose is going to be here a little bit later. She's dealing with some home improvement issues of her own this week. Not quite as whimsical.
Copy of my style.
I know. She's totally ripping off Loris.
This is my brand.
I know. It's you know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I've said it for lawyers.
So yeah, our main topic this week is going to be the Stellaris Nemesis expansion. That's why we brought DJ on. So we'll talk about that at length later on in the show, but we'll start off with some news, including, if my OBS will cooperate, we got the first new culture reveal for humankind. My cursor has disappeared. That's a little concerning. Oop, there we go. And it's the Americans, which I think was on all of our guest sheets. I think it was on everybody's guest sheets.
Yeah, this surprises literally no one.
For the contemporary era, yeah. I'm glad that they made our unique unit the F-22 and not the F-35, which is a giant, disastrous, expensive embarrassment.
I mean, we could sort of fit in then, would it not?
I mean, to some degree, that would be very on brand. Like, it's not as good. Like, it's not a very good plane, and it just costs a lot of money, and that's just what you're signing up for if you choose to play as America. Yeah, to some degree, that would track. And then we get an intelligence agency because we love to spy on our
Defense agency.
Yeah, our people and other people's people. So it's.
I want to have a mechanics work for that. I'm kind of hoping that you get to just, plonk it down in other people's territory mostly. That'd be pretty good.
I mean, it'd be kind of what it's supposed to do, right? That's how it's used in real life.
Yeah.
Plunk it down in other people's countries without them asking for it. Yeah.
Plug it down in any oil deposit in the world.
Yeah. So it seems like they're going more towards a militarist idea of America as opposed to, I think in a lot of recent Civ games, it's been a little bit more of like a cultural hegemony thing with like movie studios and stuff and civilization. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, the era obviously with it being a what the hell ever lightning, it kind of makes sense that militarism would be like the big thing in this era for the Americans, just based on how much more money the Americans spend on their military than literally everyone else ever. Just makes sense that military is the focus of this era of Americanness.
Right.
Yeah.
And the lightning does make a lot of sense. Like, if there is a single aircraft that represents America in the modern era, it's that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
An aircraft
would be more. I mean, that one.
No, the F-16. No, the F-16 is a Cold War fighter. The F-22 is a fighter that is so advanced that it's basically useless. Nothing in the world can touch it. It is so much more advanced than anything else in the world. It's like to the point that the Americans have been reactivating the F-117s and using those in Syria rather than sending the Lightnings in because they don't want to risk the Russians ever getting a proper look at them.
Mm-hmm.
So DJ, are you free every week? Because
Yeah, I like the F-16 better. I think it's a more stylish jet, but yeah, the F-22 makes a lot of sense for if America definitely has dominance as an air power. Anyone who's played Command and Conquer Generals knows that. And it's probably our most dominant plane. So at least combat. Well, maybe the A-10. Be kind of between those two probably. So A-10 probably gets more use because we haven't fought anybody that has planes in a very long time. So.
Yeah, that's the one that's invincible until it drops its payload, right?
That's why I wanted to join the Air Force when I was 19 and not any of the other branches, because I'm like, the people we're fighting don't even have planes. I'll be fine. I'll be up in the sky.
And it's the B2 that no one can see until it drops its bombs.
Yeah.
The A-10 is the tank killer.
Yeah, it's the one that's just basically a giant gun with wings on it that does ground strafing and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It is literally a minigun with a pair of giant engines bolted onto it.
And
in its own way, it's wonderful.
Yeah, you sit on and straddle the gun and just fly it around, and so that's...
Also, much like the B-52, the American Air Force has tried to retire it multiple times and then realised they have nothing to replace it with, and so have to keep using it.
Yeah. Just just make an F-35 variant that does all of this stuff. Isn't that what we spent all that money on?
Look, as an Englishman, I'm contractually obliged to point out that the F-35 is a wonderful aircraft, and that it's been entirely worth it. I couldn't keep a straight face. I tried, all right? I tried. On the bright side, the bit we designed works perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Buy British arms. Come on.
Please ignore the fact that we actually had to buy the bit off of the Russians in order to work out how to do VTOL that way, but shh.
Doesn't matter. That's innovation, that is.
This podcast is now sponsored by BAE Systems.
Yeah, right. I was about to say, I'm really sorry, I'm a bit of an aircraft nerd. So.
Well, I live like 15 minutes away from one of the main Ball aerospace facilities in Colorado, so I might get my internet shut off if we rep a different aerospace.
I grew up in Kuwait, so we had regular overflights from everything in the US.
I grew up right by the Air Force Academy too. So it was. So Air Force Academy is like 20 minutes from the house I grew up in. It's really, really close actually. So yeah. Well, you know what innovation I am particularly excited about this week? That is not really related to fighter jets. But we got a dev diary from Meneth about new modding functionality coming in Crusader Kings 3, including an upcoming patch. They are going to make same-sex concubinage. I've never heard that word said out loud before, so I'm not sure which one it is.
Concubinage.
We'll go with that.
Will be
concubinage, actually.
Concubinage.
Well, they're gonna make same-sex concubinage moddable once again. It's not gonna be part of the base game, but you will be able to mod it in. And then for 1.4, which is the next big patch, they want to make same-sex marriages moddable, which is something that's been described as a technical hurdle since day one, basically. I'm very curious how that's gonna work as far as Dynasty goes. Like which parent's dynasty is the child going to be a part of? Are they going to add triggers for like adoption mechanics, or are they just going to make adoption? Adoption would be cool. I'd honestly be okay with the idea that you can have kids regardless of what the genders of the parent are, because I am very much of the belief that somebody's reproductive parts do not necessarily determine their gender. So, I don't know. I'll be really interested to see how they implement this.
I'm just looking forward to more mods in general.
Oh yeah, naturally.
I think. There's a lot of teasers for the After the End stuff. I don't know if you've seen any of that stuff. it looks very nice. The terrain, they've been working on the terrain a lot. They've released Jamaica and the Pacific Northwest. And
Oh no, I haven't seen any of that. Do you have a link to it? And
oh, they've got a Twitter account. I could find it in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really cool. I'm glad I think I've said on the show before that I hope they make it a priority, and it looks like they did. So, yeah, good
And
on the
obviously
CP3 team.
there's the vocal minority of assholes who don't like it, but like,
Aren't there always?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good to see, the likes and dislikes on it. You can tell that they are in the minority.
Yeah. I mean, I would even support going further and making it a doctrine that you can select in the vanilla game without modding, because there are already much weirder things that you can design your religion to do in the unmodded game. But yeah, no, I like that they're making it moddable. I am satisfied with that solution, and yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's great. Skyrim mods. Need to have same-sex marriage for that, for sure.
I think
Which is in development.
This
Skyrim mods? Elder Scrolls.
really well if you had, say, your character was homosexual and you had a straight marriage. Maybe your character could accrue stress as long as it didn't have a same-sex concubine.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like that could work.
I could see that. Yeah. Yeah, that would be
implement more integrating more things with stress, because it is a really good mechanic. It just needs
that would be a little bit tricky, I think, because in a way that's kind of like a nerf to gay characters. Like, if you're always going to be stressed out unless you find a lover, it makes sense, total sense RP wise, for sure. And it's not like it wouldn't have been harder. To be gay in the Western European Middle Ages, it probably would have been much more taxing than it would have been to be.
Should be a
so.
special honorary title called court favorite, which is normally what.
Oh yeah.
What lovers were coiling
called
at the time.
Yeah, you're really good. You're really good best friend. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Sappho and her friend.
That's it.
Yeah. I love those. I love those memes. Yeah, well, we may take a look at some of that after the end stuff a bit later, but the other... I have no idea where my cursor went, and I'm a little freaked out by it. Oh, that's what it was. Stellaris stole my cursor.
Ah, yeah.
I actually have Stellaris. In the background. DJ stole my cursor, yeah. We got the first look at new focus trees coming in the Barbarossa patch for Hearts of Iron 4. Starting out with Poland, we got a look at their historical path. We're going to get to see the ahistorical paths, which are part of the paid content next week. So this is just the free stuff. I'm pretty impressed with this. It seems like they kind of are taking to heart the critique we've heard a couple times, which is that some of the focus trees they've released are equivalent to, or sometimes not as good as, ones that are available as mods. The idea that you're going to be able to kind of dynamically build a government and like strengthen the constitution seems really interesting. They've got this peasant strike mechanic where if you don't complete agrarian reforms in time, the peasants are going to get mad. You have to kind of balance things between the left and the right, or else they'll get mad at you. And then the whole situation with Danzig, where Danzig can actually break away as an independent tag and join the Axis if you don't decide to, depending on how you decide to intervene there. You need to gain a port either through basically integrating Danzig, which it starts out as you don't get the benefits of anything in that entire province. And you have this embargoed economy modifier, which is going to hurt until you either integrate Danzig or develop Gdynia. I'm not super great at pronouncing Polish words.
We'll go with that.
Gdynia. You either have to turn that into a major port or you have to get Danzig into the fold. by propaganda or by invasion, if you prefer it that way. Let me see. There was one other like major point I wanted to bring up in here. Yeah, there's the Constitution reforms, which I thought was really cool.
I think they're really hitting the high mark with these focus trees now, because I used to be like Mexico really hit the ball out of the park, and I thought, well, nothing's going to be as good as Mexico coming up, but then of course the Spanish one came along at the same time, and I thought that was brilliant. Now this one really matches Mexico, in my opinion, so hopefully we get to see more stuff along these lines.
I also feel like this is even maybe a little bit better than like the Mexico and Spain ones, because it doesn't seem quite as unwieldy. Like some of the Spanish focus trees are so big that like I kind of have a hard time getting my head around them. Whereas this seems like
the point I wanted to make is
yeah.
It'd be really nice if you had the option of like just a little minus symbol next to every
that would be cool.
Every focus, where you can just minimize that and the entire branch below it. And if they are if you've got two mutually exclusive things and you choose option A, B and everything below it would be minimized. You could still open it up to see it again if you really want to, but like it's really hard to when they're so wide like that, it's just noise to me at this point.
Oh, this is the other thing I wanted to mention. It's that they actually get focuses where they can choose to get a very powerful short-term modifier instead of developing their industry long-term. Because obviously for Poland, you know, you're going to be taking it from both sides fairly early on if historical focuses play out as they normally do. I think that's really interesting and kind of a cool decision to think about how much do I want to invest in short-term defense versus long-term defense. I'd love to see something like this for like Czechoslovakia, which is another country that I always feel like I don't have enough time to build up the industry to defend my country properly. So being able to pick like, oh yeah, we're going to give you a really good bonus, but it's only going to last for however many days, just so you can weather that first brunt of the invasion. I like that a lot too. So yeah, this looks like a really cool tree. Looking forward to seeing what the alt history paths are for it as well.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I like the portraits team. That's another thing I should mention. Like the
oh yeah, absolutely.
I would. Well, it seems like a new kind of style. I love the contrast in it, though. Very, very nice. I'm a huge fan of high contrast portraits. You get that with lots of black and white pictures, but you get colorized. But I think often during colorization, people take out the really dark shades that you get in black and white. But I like it. I really like it.
I just want to know if we're getting a new Wojciech portrait. That's the real question.
Yeah.
That's, you know, the Poland update. Everyone just wants to. We want to know about the bear. What's going on with the bear? That's
clearly underneath secret future stuff. It's not actually any focus trees. It's just a really big picture of a bear.
Yeah, you can act. I want to actually be able to put Wojciech in power. I want to.
That's the old history.
Implement an Ursocracy. That's what I want to say.
What's the word for that?
I mean, I don't know if there was before I just made it up. But
now there is, and we're copywriting that. So anyone else using that?
Yes, Philip Pullman, you're not allowed it.
Yep.
All right.
Gonna get some cease and desist letters to Philip Pullman now.
Well,
nothing is happening with the bear, says Mecca in chat.
Well, maybe he's just
there's some side eyes with it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't really believe you.
I mean, somebody's got to mod it in. If it's not vanilla, somebody's got to make a mod where you can establish the Wojciech party and put them in power. Yeah.
Oh, you can also invest in Eastern Poland, which is such a vintage meme. I normally don't like memes, but when memes are like 10 years old, then they start to make a resurgence in my mind. It's like it's aged like a fine wine now. Actually, I quite like that.
Yeah.
I mean, vintage memes are the best memes.
Exactly.
Hey, Rose is here.
Hello. My kitchen isn't flooded, though it was a close call.
That's good to hear. That is very good to hear. You don't want a flooded kitchen.
No.
Well, you are back just in time for us to move on to our main topic for this week, which is Stellaris Nemesis, which at this point I believe we have all had a chance to play. I've played
far too much.
Quite a lot of it, actually.
I wish I'd had time to play more.
Well, let's just start out, DJ, since you're the guest this week.
Hello.
Yeah, what is what has the
Tell
whole...
us about your dick.
Yeah. Yes. Why not? We already know about your black hole, so might as well. So we were talking a little bit.
Funny story about the black hole.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So, DJ, you know how Agmade, long game short, he cuts down all the Stellaris stuff or the PDX streams and makes them into shorter, funnier clips for YouTube?
Yes.
Well, he had to go look up your name because he wanted to put your name down as DJ Black Hole.
Right.
And he wasn't sure if that was right or not, so he had to go double check.
How this has followed me around so much, I genuinely don't know.
Because it's funny.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we were talking a little bit about the show, about some of the reception that's been rolling in. What do people on the team feel about this rollout in Nemesis in general so far?
Pride, in all honesty. Internally, we feel this is a wonderful, wonderful update. Both the 3.0 update, or the 3.01 as it is now, update, the dick patch, as everybody is referring to it, and also the Nemesis DLC itself. Both are there's something special. The amount of quality of life and balance changes in the free patches, and then the big 4 features in the DLC are genuinely pretty special, and there's a genuine feeling of pride, and I hate to say it because it's such a stupid term in the games industry, but pride and accomplishment. Genuine pride and accomplishment rather than the mean kind.
I'm showing my campaign. I actually haven't made it to the end game yet, so I haven't seen a lot of the Become the Crisis and
I became the Crisis.
Galactic Empire. What happens? What happens when you become the Crisis?
Everyone declares war on you. It's pretty good. It's a bit challenging. I didn't expect everyone to declare war on me when you complete the top. Then we started to do a vote to try and become the Galactic Emperor, but it failed, which probably was a huge thing for me because didn't have to deal with the Emperor, right? And then you sort of have to stave off everyone attacking you while you build a large megastructure. Once you complete that megastructure, you destroy the universe and you win the game.
Yes. Everybody is dead.
Yeah.
Your species ascend to the shroud and become essentially gods.
Q.
So you don't keep playing after the
Nope.
Etherophasatic engine goes off.
Well, you go to observer mode and you get to look around the world, the galaxy that is filled with black holes and everyone's dead. And
unless there are shielded worlds.
Oh yeah,
really?
They are the exception.
So you can protect a few little pet planets if you want to.
Yeah.
So
they're stuck on their worlds now orbiting a black hole. So how long the planet is actually viable for is a different question.
They can just get sucked through the black hole into a different dimension. It'd be alright. It's cool.
Well, what if
that's the next update?
What if the Prakikiti have not been awakened yet, and then they are the only survivors of the galaxy? Well, I guess they wouldn't be able to expand because everything's black holes. But
And they yeah.
Basically, they're just on the quest for DJ's black hole, because that's the all important one that'll let them win the game as second place.
Okay.
No,
but
that
no, in honesty, there would be no one to let them out. So
true. Well, maybe that's the plot twist, is that they didn't get locked into that planet. They locked the rest of the galaxy out because they realized that the rest of the galaxy was too violent and needed to be wiped out over and over again by the aetherophasatic engine until they learned their lesson. It's a reverse Prakikati situation. Yeah.
One thing about Crisis I failed to mention too, it's got a really interesting gameplay parts, which is so for the final megastructure, you need a lot of dark matter, more dark matter that you can feasibly get from natural sources. So you get the Star Destroyers that have to go around and destroy stars. And you get an interesting trade-off, because every time you destroy a star, it destroys everything in the system. So you basically have to decide if you're destroying your own star systems, taking a hit to your economy, or you're going out to destroy other star systems, but in the process risking your Star Destroyer being destroyed itself. So there's an interesting trade-off. It's very, very fun.
And as well as that, the Star Eaters themselves cost dark matter to produce.
Yeah,
you can have more than one Star Eater. And the Star Eaters cost dark matter. So it's very much a process of you're building up dark matter by destroying stars, but the faster you want to do it, the more Star Eaters you need, which also use up your dark matter. So at some point you have to decide to stop building more Star Eaters and start saving the dark matter for building your aetherophasic engine up.
It's like when you're playing Age of Empires and you need food to make more villagers to collect more food. And eventually you have to stop making the villagers so you can stockpile it so you can build your troops.
But also you can only just draw...
Even better sideline for that is, it's like the mod that you made for Stellaris. You are sacrificing your own pops to get points towards the end of the game. I can definitely see a parallel there as well.
Yeah, a certain amount of negative feedback loop.
Yeah.
And also you can only destroy a star once, and let me tell you, you start running out of stars rather quickly.
As we saw we saw that in the Cold War, where Stefan had to rather rapidly start eating stars outside of his borders. And I don't think there was much of the Divine Empire left at the end of the event.
Yes.
Yeah, they weren't missed.
So I designed this species to be basically ruthless diplomats to eventually take over as the Emperor. As you can see, I already have double the diplomatic power of the next most influential empire with only 2 envoys assigned. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
You can bump that up a bit more. You've got an envoy spare.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, there we go. All right. I've already formed a federation where I'm basically the unquestioned ruler forever. So, just wanted to expand that out a little further, maybe to, I don't know, the whole galaxy or something. I really like the new First Contact stuff. Espionage, I have not really dived that deep into it yet. I like the fact that I'm in 2350 and I still don't really know what is on this side of the galaxy for the most part. So
even though you rule the Galactic Senate.
Right, yeah. I guess I should implement a census or something. I should make them tell me what they have over there. I don't know if that's something I can do, but
as custodian, there are some interesting laws you can pass. Once you're custodian, you can do things like introduce Galactic Standard as a language, which gives everybody an influence boost. So everyone in the galaxy gets an influence boost.
Really nice for French.
Another one is that you can have a Galactic Naval Initiative. I can't remember the precise name of it, but that gives everybody extra naval capacity. There's an anti-piracy initiative that reduces piracy across the galaxy. So there's several things you can do as custodian that genuinely makes the galaxy a better place. And makes everybody that's playing's lives a bit better and a bit easier. So,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But why would you want to do that?
Because some of us actually try to, like, when they're playing Stellaris, make the galaxy a nice, happy place. I know this might be a foreign concept.
Is
but...
that
I
don't know.
Alien.
I don't get
it's alien to me.
Chat, that sounds fake to me. What do you think?
I was playing as like a good nation. It was pretty good. Apart from the point where I did first contact and someone stole one of my pops and vivisectioned them. And then I decided, actually, I didn't want to be friends with him anymore and went to war with him. So the first contact stuff really does shape your relationship as a player,
right?
Big time.
Can
I have never felt such an emotional response to first contact.
Yeah.
In Stellaris until one of my science ships got taken over, and they literally like, is it vivisection when they're alive?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
And it's like, this is horrific.
Yep.
Your species is horrendous.
Yeah,
No, we can't be friends. Like, because it turned out actually we could have probably gotten on, and it was like, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same. You could ease it out afterwards, but I was like the Godfather. It's like, look what they did to my boy. Look how they massacred my boy.
Yeah,
Stellaris has gotten 18 achievements since April 12th, right?
Yeah,
the very first one he got was vivisection.
look.
I also,
guys, after a lot of playing bad guys,
I also don't want any.
Go
for it.
Unlimited power, of course.
Also, I don't want anyone paying attention to the fact that I have a 24 stack clone army. That's has nothing to do with anything. Shouldn't.
Big on the Clone Wars have.
No, this is. Hey, listen.
I
it's
was
more
Lord Chancellor Valorum.
I just don't want to have my armies be limited by pops. That's all. I didn't build a clone army for any other reason. It's just it seemed like the most efficient way to wage war. So.
And in no way do you have a hidden order between 65 and 67, right?
No. Yeah. We just didn't like that number. That's why we skipped over it in the book.
Let me guess. Your enemies have robot armies? Just out of curiosity.
I hope they do. I haven't...
Led by a man named Roger?
I hope they do. I haven't actually... Our biggest enemy right now is a hive mind, I think. Yeah.
Hives are strong now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Hives are definitely stronger now.
They're
good.
They've been eating these guys to their south for a while, so yeah.
The one of the things that's interesting is with the changes in econ and everything, the AI is playing the econ game much better, which is leading to an overall just the AI feels a lot stronger throughout the course of the game now.
Good.
They're attacking a lot more. Like they're a lot more aggressive. If you play as a devouring, like a total war empire, you'll find that empires will dogpile you. Someone gets brave enough to declare a war, and all of a sudden, everybody's starting to do it. And you can find yourself in like 4 or 5 wars very, very quickly. The game feels much more vibrant now. Like the other races feel much more involved. And it's through a multitude of things. As you were saying, the intel system and not knowing about the other side of the galaxy in late game is fascinating.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite part of the update is the espionage kind of thing. Not espionage system in like specifically, but like everything around it. This first contact is so much better. It's massively improved. Not being able to know exactly what my enemies have is a huge change for me. It's something that I've argued for in multiple Paradox games for a long time, is that I don't want to know all the information that I realistically would not know in this situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, you've done it and it's great.
Intel is a game changer. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I was playing a Devouring Swarm and my intel was I didn't really invest much into intel because I thought I'm just going to eat them. But then quickly after discovering I was sending my fleets into very, very, very strong star bases and they were all dying constantly because I didn't know they were there in the first place, I thought maybe Intel, I should invest more into it. It adds such an interesting aspect of the game, and especially if you're going to be playing an inward perfectionist now, where you get a lot of the ability to stop people spying on you and hiding some really, really, really powerful star bases in your territory. That would work wonders, especially in Monument.
Yep. Also, the way that sensors on outposts work now, nebulas became a lot stronger. I actually started a file earlier where I've spawned in a nebula.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
This is one of my most productive regions right here, the Haraban Nebula.
Yep.
So
nebula star bases are insanely powerful now. Not only because you get the production bonuses, so whenever you get a production bonus technology, those stack onto your orbital buildings now. So where it starts at producing 10 minerals, it will go up throughout the course of the game as you get each of those stacking technologies. But alongside that, once you unlock gas, once you can dig up gases, the nebula refineries also produce a single gas, which particularly in the early game is incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
And this is the thing I adore about this patch and this version. The number of changes Paradox have sort of like the devs that have really added in and have just done throughout the game. Almost everything has been touched, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I actually feel like I have a hard decisions to make on how to specialize my planets now. Because of the changes to building slots, I never feel like I can have all of the buildings that I want on a single planet, so I have to decide. Whereas
so they're easier to unlock because you build city districts.
Right.
So on that planet at the moment, you've only got 13 housing available, and you're matching it with you seem to be matching with jobs.
Right. Yeah, like I've got them all on my capital. What I'm saying is that in the previous patch, it felt like if I wanted to build up a planet to have all of the buildings that I wanted on it, I kind of could. Yeah. And it's like, okay, and for these last couple slots, I'll throw in an extra science lab or something. Now it feels like I actually do have to choose what I'm going to specialize each planet for, and it's a little harder to find like an optimal district distribution.
Well, city district is so much more important now. Yeah. Because excess housing leads to extra growth.
Right.
And the more housing you have available, the more growth you get. So you actually want to massively overbuild on housing districts.
Yeah.
And obviously the housing.
Interesting because previously with Empire Sprawl, you really just wanted to keep your planets right at the bare minimum of what you needed.
And now, nope, you want to build those housing districts. I tend to try and keep my planets at between 30 and 50 available housing.
Yep.
And then, like, I've worked out a few tricks already. One of the other ones that I heartily recommend is growth habitats. Build a habitat to 23 populations, and then use that simply as a population growth place. Don't allow any more jobs on it, and use the auto resettlement to move the pops to jobs where they're needed.
That's a clever idea.
Yeah, and 23 seems to be the magic number.
I also haven't like messed around with transit hubs and stuff yet, because I know there's a lot of new strategies you can do with that. But,
that's my next playthrough too, I think.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about egalitarians in this patch is you can ignore it.
Oh, really?
As an egalitarian, pops will just go where they're needed. And
I do have
beautiful.
That's probably why I haven't needed to worry about it, because I am playing a egalitarian fanatic xenophile.
Yeah.
So yeah, which is reflected in my demographics quite a bit. I think this might be the most species I've ever had in a single empire before, and I don't know.
Beautiful.
I don't know how much of that has to do with the new immigration mechanics, but I'm assuming it does. Because we have a lot. So
if your people are with migration, the living standards they're moving to seems to have quite a lot to do with it. And so if your people are on good living standards, you'll get a net gain from migration.
Yeah, I think I'm on social welfare for just about all of my species, yeah. Yeah, so I haven't bumped it up to the utopian abundance yet because we're having a consumer goods issue at the moment, but we'll get there.
When do people not have a consumer goods issue?
Yeah,
honestly, me in this update.
well,
I do for the first 5-10 years, and then it's like, oh, I've completely wiped out my need for consumer goods now. I'm like positive 15 a month because I like the new district that was added.
Yeah,
well, it's partly because I think also if you're playing a hive mind, you don't need the consumer goods, and those which negates that. But then you have 2 foundries instead for all those districts, which I guess is also makes hive minds particularly powerful.
What's interesting too is if you set your planet to be an industrial, what is it? I forgot the name of it. The artisans.
Yeah.
Then the industrial district only has artisan jobs. It doesn't make alloys anymore.
Yeah.
Swaps one of the jobs over.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing with consumer goods that just means that you should never have to worry about them is just swap your trade specialization over to consumer goods.
Yeah.
And that should deal with your situation for most of the game. Although I found in this version, one of the things that I found, first of all, is good God, you need a lot more bureaucrat planets.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
This used to be a fairly balanced planet, and I've slowly been turning it into just an entire bureaucratic nightmare.
Yeah, so I always have at least one planet, but it's a bureaucracy planet.
Yeah.
Everything gets filed at this one big planet.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to get rid of all these balls. We need more bureaucrats. Yeah.
I think in my current empire, I have 5 full bureaucrat planets.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I usually...
going to those planets. They're like some horrible Kafkaesque nightmare world, you know?
I just think they're essentially Brazil. Is how I look at it.
Yes,
and not the country, the film.
Yeah,
to make that very, very clear quickly.
I'm also, I'm sure people in chat are noticing that I'm very much not playing efficiently here because I have 13k minerals banked and almost all of my planets have something I could build on them. But
it's slightly hurting my soul. I'm not.
You know what? I've been focused on this war down here. People have been sending me notifications. I've been telling my secretary to deal with. Yeah, so
the automation now system is actually, I find it really useful. I was one of these people who would micromanage everything, but I've actually been pressing the auto build thing, so it's not being stupid with it. It's definitely worth trying, for sure.
It is so much better.
Technology is weird. I don't think I'll ever automate technology.
You might if you get far enough into the late game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I got to the point. Yeah, I got to the point on physics and society where it was mostly just repeatable text coming up every time. So I went ahead and automated those 2. I'm still doing my engineering manually, but this was a very, very science-focused playthrough, so I ran out of interesting stuff. It's basically when I see for 3 different card draws or whatever that there's nothing I'm really that interested in, I just go ahead and hit automate, because at this point I have all the physics and society stuff I want. Yeah,
it is really nice having the automate when you're later in the game, since I don't know how many playthroughs you're like, oh, I never bothered researching this, and it pops up and you grab it and it takes 2 months, and then you're popping up and grabbing another one. You spend your whole time just selecting research and not playing the game.
I don't know. It doesn't take that long though. It's literally 2 clicks. I don't see 2 clicks as being
but it's stuff that doesn't matter. I'm just researching it because I have to research something. Or
I'll be honest, the reason I don't do it is because I am so particular about what repeatables are worth doing. In late game, I do about 5 levels of energy, weapon, attack speed, and attack power, and then just do shields. And on engineering, I'm always looking for stratecraft, speed, and attack power or armor. And on physics, on society, depends. That's more situational than the other 2. But I'm very particular about what repeatables I do. So yeah, I can't ever. It's like with planetary automation. It is so much better. I still can't ever use it. Every planet must be min-maxed completely and totally. Yeah.
I'm not a min-maxy player, but I also don't like the AI doing it. I will do my own inefficiency. Thank you very much.
Go.
Oh, I'm also still waiting for Mega Engineering to come up, because I need to fix these Ringworld segments. I don't know if there's a way to encourage that. Like, I'm holding on.
Have you gotten Titans? Have you got Citadels?
Oh, that's what it is. I haven't researched Titans yet. That must be what I'm...
There you go.
Okay.
I believe it's Titans, Citadel, and Antimatter Power, and then you can up the chance of it appearing by building 4 Citadels and 4 Fortress level stations.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what I need. I just need to research Titans. That's what's holding. I'm like saving Ascension perk slots because I don't have Mega Engineering yet.
Yep.
So, yeah. Cool.
I often end up. I often ended up. It might be 0 point power. Not.
Yeah, I definitely have 0 point power and battleships. So
it's always 0 point power for me. That I always forget.
I always go for power first because it lets me put more stuff on my ships. So
I'm terrible for letting my power fall behind my ship componentry. Sort of sitting there going, why are my ships so weak? And then upgrade to level 2 power while everything else is on like level 4 or whatever. And it's like, oh.
I've done that a few times.
Yeah.
It's easy
okay,
to do.
It's Citadels, battleships, and 0 point power. It isn't Titans. It's battleships, 0 point powers, Citadels. I apologize. I thought it was Titans. I was wrong.
I think I have all of those, but yeah.
What is a Titan if not a battleship persevering?
A Titan is a buff platform.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why anyone ever uses them any different. I'll be very honest with you. It's one of the ones that really puzzles me with how people play Stellaris.
Yeah, I always imagine my Titan as like just a very big, overblown drummer boy, basically.
Yeah.
That's
it's the same with the Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Unless you're using the Juggernaut as a guerrilla warship, which, by the way, is an incredibly effective tactic.
Yeah.
Seriously, put it behind enemy lines in late game, like jump it in with the upgrade that means that its jump drive is reduced. Get it to spit out 12 corvettes, which is what you'll be able to do as long as you've got a mega shipyard in the time that it takes to recharge its drives. Then leave those 12 corvettes there, jump to another part of their empire and repeat the process. Then with those 12 corvettes, just start causing trouble. You don't care about them. Let them die. Yeah?
That is so sly. I love it. I'm gonna steal that idea.
Yeah, 12
100%.
corvettes will generally beat any non-border station. So as long as you avoid their big fortresses in the like at their border points, and you'll have jump drives on them, so you'll be able to hop over anything, like if they have a choke point station. You can take out most of their economy like that, especially if their forces are a long way away.
Yeah, I might need to be playing on a slightly higher difficulty, because unfortunately I don't really have any rivals right now, other than the Marauder clans and the Fallen Empires. Like, I'm using half of my naval cap.
What's diplomatic stance even?
Everybody is inferior or pathetic.
Yeah. What diplomatic stance even?
Policies, Diplo stats. I think I'm on expansionist still, maybe?
Cooperative.
Oh, cooperative. Yeah.
So you want to be swapping to... you want to swap your Diplo stance as soon as you can. It looks like you've done it in the last 10 years. Soon as you can, you want to be swapping it to supremacist.
Okay.
One of the things that does is reduces the the restrictions on rivals are massively reduced. So it's far easier for you to rival people.
Yeah. So, yeah, I also had this on the scaling. I have it on the scaling difficulty where they get stronger as the game goes on. So I don't know if their bonuses have kicked in yet, but yeah. So seems like everybody's pretty excited about this patch. Who has had a chance to play it so far?
Huge fan of the economy. One thing we didn't bring up too, like when we're talking about economy, is often I would like specialize in having a generator world, having a farm world. I mean, it was simply a massive matter of just spamming farm provinces and stuff. But now, because you need the housing slots to build buildings, and you need those buildings for amenities, It's not a matter of just, oh, this is my agricultural planet, spam farms. You have to build agricultural planets, but also build a little bit of an urban environment for them to work in. Unless you're playing, of course, like a, what's it called? Agrarian
Idyll.
Agrarian Idyll, that's the one, yeah. Well, in that case, you can do spam farms and stuff.
Yeah, so you get extra houses.
So, and happiness, and, each farmer produces amenities. But it's really the amenities you need. So if you're building a big, beautiful mining world, you need to at least make like a theater. City. Yeah, you'll still need a city, and you'll need to have like some theaters and stuff, which adds something very interesting to your raw resource planets.
I think charismatic is now the most powerful trait in the game.
Oh yes.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's my view based on my playtest so far.
First gameplay I did, I was playing the Ravenous Horde, and I put what's the one called? Where disgusting looking one, Uncanny? Is it? No, that's the robot version.
Repugnant.
Repugnant, that's the one. And I gene modded that out ASAP because that is rough nowadays.
Yep, that's really, really harsh. Also, Unruly is nowhere near as because of the fact that your upgraded bureaucrat buildings now only give 4 bureaucrats, and you get less building slots. The extra 10% sprawl from pops that Unruly gives has gone from being I don't care, that's 2 free points to
Yep. 100%. And Docile's a lot nicer now.
Yeah.
And also because you're building a lot of bureaucrats, having the Byzantine bureaucracy is so good. I was playing Space China, and I got Byzantine bureaucracy because you got to if you're role playing Space China, right? And having these bureaucratic planets, they pumped out so much unity and so much stability. It was wonderful. These bureaucratic planets for imperial bureaucracy were amazing. Really good trait now.
Yeah,
very good, very very good.
Just realized I still have some old robots that don't have the newest updates yet that I have to.
And it's interesting. It's interesting how much the small changes are going to change, particularly at like the meta layer of gameplay. Some of the really small changes are going to lead to some dramatic shifts in meta. One of the big ones that came with the 3.01 patch, the notes we put out today, is that you won't get the slave bonuses from specialist jobs anymore when you use indentured servitude, which utterly demolishes the whole meta of slaver technocracies. Because you're no longer able to stack those bonuses, and that minor change has made the meta build nowhere near as powerful and will lead to something else becoming the new meta.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I found something interesting during that China game, right? So I was playing with servile race because I was playing like a sort of wonderful worm that has like butterfly underlings that did all the farming. And halfway through the game, I discovered having the stratified society and having the slaves, and because I wasn't getting the bonuses from the people working in the secondary jobs, I slowly had to move away from slavery to make a more efficient society, which I found really, really interesting. It meant that during the start of the game, I was getting huge bonuses from my slave output. Mid-game, I had to move to indentured servitudes because I just didn't have the pops to supply all my factories. And then late game, I was like, right, okay, I need to get rid of this whole slavery malarkey and slowly fix my empire, which caused loads of different political problems because all these newly liberated slaves, turns out, they became quite egalitarian. They didn't quite like my celestial monarchy anymore.
Yeah,
you hate to see it.
I wonder why.
Yeah,
it was weird. It was so weird. But I've never had to really change or sculpt my society in a way that I had to do in that game. Very interesting gameplay change.
What I've found with my slaver societies is I now rely on nihilistic acquisition to get my slaves, and alongside that, I only allow growth of my primary species on all my planets, and that's the way that I now go about it. And nihilistic acquisition is now ridiculously powerful. In my current run through, I've emptied 3 empires down to 2 populations per planet.
But they kept them around for like sort of farming.
No, like, it costs so much influence now to get rid of them forever that might as well.
What's so great is what you do if you find someone who's in an alliance, and then you claim the territory that you want, and then go to war with the alliance. Ignore the territory that you want, because then you constantly have the massive amount of war goal missing, so the war can't end. Go into your opponent, their allies' territory, empty it of populations, and then go and take over the territory of that you actually want to take over and end the war. And hey presto, you
Interesting.
You take your territory and you get a vast amount of population from the war without, and this is the key thing, without taking the population from the territory that you're conquering.
I like it. I'm stealing all these ideas, by the way. I like it 100%.
Yeah, I've never really done a nihilistic acquisition run before because I wasn't quite sure why you would, but that makes sense.
That's why. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. With the new late game pop growth system, when you get to large population numbers, populations are prohibitively expensive. And so, as a larger empire, if you really want to push your population numbers up, you got to find a way to do it.
Yep.
Nice.
Whatever you have to do, huh?
Yeah, another good idea is find a sector that's not that productive, turn it into a vassal with as low population numbers as you can give it. Leave it after a decade, reintegrate it, grab all the populations that it's grown in the intervening 10 years, and then revassalize it, and just repeat process throughout.
So it's a pop farm.
Yeah,
I like it.
So you're basically like designating a specific world that gets to be independent until they develop to a certain level, and then you grant them statehood, and then take all their people, and then kick them back out and take away their parliamentary rights or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, that's sounds about right. That sounds pretty Stellaris-y to me.
Yeah.
So.
DJ, stop breaking our game. Oh, love it.
Don't think he ever will.
No, you're not going to stop that.
I did pull up that Laura sent me the After the End Twitter account. Oh, I don't want sound on it though. Not to change direction too quickly, but yeah, this map does look pretty cool.
It's very, very pretty.
Yeah, this Pacific, that looks like the Pacific Northwest here. Yeah, I was a big fan of After the End in CK too, so I'm looking forward to. I like being able to play these games on terrain that I recognize, and
I don't recognize it. I just don't know American geography. As far as I'm concerned, America's just coast to coast cowboys. It's like New York on one side.
Yeah, it's New York and Los Angeles, and in the middle is cowboys. Yeah, that's
exactly.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, that's all.
Well, don't forget Florida. Florida's its own little world.
True.
Well, to be more clear, actually, was Brooklyn, and where Sopranos is. There's cowboys, and then suddenly surfer dudes. That's all I'm aware of.
There's a big patch of corn somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Well, lots of cows.
I think that's migratory, though. I think they migrate. They move away from the cowboys, that corn does. That's where the cows graze on. So
I can find, because I actually did. Yeah, this is. As somebody who has lived in the Western U.S., these are basically the cultural regions of the Western U.S. If I were going to make like de jure kingdoms for perhaps a post-apocalyptic mod, this is how I would break it up.
Well, look, you've got Free Britons in the chat now, and we know a lot about dividing up countries. And I would say,
you know a lot about dividing up countries terribly.
Yeah, no straight lines, 0 out of 10.
Creating hundreds of
has gone wrong with straight lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is how I would actually break it up. Yeah. So, I don't know. After the End, people, you want? I guess you probably have people on the team from the Western U.S. already, but
I like that little Las Vegas enclave.
Yeah, because it is. It's nothing like anything around it, so it really actually should be its own kingdom. Like,
New Vegas called that just right.
Yeah, no, they were totally right about that. There's nothing even remotely resembling Las Vegas for hundreds of miles around Las Vegas.
I would argue Austin would probably end up something similar in a situation like it as well.
These days, it definitely would. Yeah, There's like a Texas corridor that is starting to get distinct from the rest, but
to be fair, the city motto of Austin has always been "Keep Austin Weird." It's not a normal place. Let's be honest about this.
Yep. So, well. Before we get out of here, DJ, do you have anything to plug? Anything that people should be keeping an eye out for in the near future?
So, a couple of things. First of all, we got the Grand Campaign coming up in the lead up to PDXCon. And this is really cool. The Grand Campaign is an event we're going to be running week to week in the 4 weeks preceding PDXCon. We'll start with Crusader Kings, run through Europa Universalis, Hearts of Iron, and then end with Stellaris. And what we're going to do is, first of all, on the PDXCon Discord, you can join in. People are already forming political parties and all sorts of things, and they're currently voting on whether we're going to be starting as the Saxons or the Danes in CK3. Then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking what happens in each game forward to the next one. And so certain things that happen in each game will affect the next ones, but also have each of the games affect the empire we play in Stellaris at the end.
Interesting.
And so it's this whole sort of alt history run that we're doing, and then what we're doing is we have various people from the 4 game teams playing the games each week. And so there'll be people from Hearts of Iron, people from Crusader Kings, people from Stellaris, and people from Europa Universalis. From throughout all sorts of different parts of the teams. So yeah, that'll be really, really good fun, we think. This is something I've been helping out with quite a lot with Adaway, the Hearts of Iron community manager, and Christoph as well has been doing an awful lot on this, and it's just really exciting. A really neat, fun little event that we've been able to put on to sort of lead up to PDXCon.
I have a question.
Just
about it. Since, I mean, there's also Imperator, and I know a lot of people are Vicky. I can understand Vicky because it's such an old game. It doesn't really mesh with the other ones. Was there a reason they decided to start in 867 instead of earlier with Imperator?
Time.
Yeah,
time. Just limited amount of time available for the event, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Lambert, do you accept that answer?
The colossal gap between the end date of Imperator and the start date of CK3, there is no continuity that you can really put in there.
That's the thing. Like, I know there's an Imperator to CK3 converter, but it's like I could never bring myself to do that because you're skipping over like 400 years of history. Like, I don't
800
more than that. Yeah.
And nothing happened during that time period.
No, nothing at all. Yeah. So,
but yeah, we're really looking to sort of let everybody, even if like as an example, I don't really play the other 3 titles. I'm very much a sci-fi nerd. Sci-fi is where I'm at. And Stellaris is my baby. But what we're going to try and do as much as we can is make this as interesting for fans of all 4 games to join in with everything. By doing things like the roleplay and the server where there's all these political parties and letting people vote on things that happen in the different games, making sure that it all continues on to each other. And we're going to try and spew out some little narrative pieces to cover the gaps between the games, things like that.
Interesting.
I'd like to shout out as well. You can still choose your side, and they're deciding where they're going to start the Grand Campaign, either as the Danes or the Saxons. Currently, the Saxons are winning by 4, and I think that's how they should be, because Errol Alfred, he needs more love in CK3. He needs his own achievement for throwing out all the Danes, because he doesn't have one.
Yeah, and I love how everyone always jumps to the Imperator gap and never to the gap between Hearts of Iron and Stellaris.
Well, nothing happened. Nothing happened there either. Yeah, nothing happened.
Nothing happens in that period. You know,
no.
Not one of the fastest moving periods of human history or anything like that. You know.
I mean, I'd argue there's also a pretty big gap between EU4 and Hearts of Iron that should probably be filled. Maybe with like a Victoria 3 or something, you know, if you want to just like announce that game in the middle, that'd be cool. I'd be okay with that.
We have producer Johan in chat saying it's time to code an EU4 to Hoi4 exporter, and he knows that Groogy likes making them.
I feel it's a lie.
I think it's a little bit of a stretch to the truth there.
Do you know?
I feel like that's definitely a lie.
Famously, Paradox have always done really well with the converters, and it hasn't been a bit of a rough spot for them. Yeah.
Do you know why Alfred doesn't have his own achievement, though? Because he's a greasy boy. Look at this greasy boy.
I don't take anything that Assassin's Creed has as relevant or at all interesting. Terrible series.
This is 100% historically accurate. He was a greasy little boy.
Maybe he can like go back in time through the power of memories to fix his hair or something. I don't fucking know.
But also, while you're showing things on the stream, the other thing that I would like to hype up and stuff is the Cold War. Because obviously we did that this weekend. The VOD is there. That'll be highlighted and kept on Twitch. There'll be a highlighted cut down version we're putting on YouTube, which will be coming in the near future. And there might even be some other stuff coming from some of the people who took part.
I'd also recommend that. It was very well orchestrated, DJ, before I say anything else. And two, some of the voice acting was incredible. I don't think I've ever smiled so much as when the Emperor was giving his speech. It was very, very funny. And some of the costumes people wore also very, very good. Should be mandatory next time. Everyone voice actor and everyone has to turn up in costume.
It was you spoke to well put together. I will be honest, orchestrating the end of that event so that we had the Atheraphasic engine blow up right at the end of 16 hours of content, organizing that in advance.
That is pretty impressive.
I will not lie, the influencer who did it, Stefan and I, we worked for a few weeks on that. To make sure that he had the timing down, that he'd let me know how long he needed, what he needed as far as gameplay was concerned, that sort of thing. To make sure that we could really showcase that at the end like that. Because obviously, from the overarching tale we told with the Galaxy, that was the ending we were going for. Yeah, nice. We were very much going for that grand finale of blowing up the Galaxy.
So it was rigged. It was rigged from the beginning. What you're basically saying is,
yes, very much so. Which is why we.
It's like pro wrestling. Yeah.
This is why we always made it clear that the winning team would not be the team that won mechanically, but would be the team that role played the best. Which is why the late night crew, but Black Gas, Mexican, Classy Packs, those chaps, they won. Because their roleplay throughout the costumes they did, the way that they, because they all had public and secret goals that they had to go towards, all of those they achieved with aplomb. And then at the end, they accidentally took over the Galactic Empire. And that was because literally A-Spec, first of all, the player who was the most inexperienced player in the event, and had come to me and said, look, I literally want to roleplay a janitor that for some reason has been given control of the Empire. And I just went, yes, you do that. And so he did that, and then got in a war with the Empire accidentally, tried to send them a surrender, but actually demanded their surrender. A-Spec didn't read it properly, and hit the accept surrender button.
Oh my god. That came from A-Spec. I have friends who have accidentally
I've done it.
Surrender demands.
Yeah,
wasn't there a Spanish multiplayer game with like Northern Lion and Aruba long ago where someone accidentally surrendered?
Northern Lion, literally, he did it to the Aztecs, I think.
And and their whole reaction to that was what tipped them over the edge as the winners in the end, because his role play to that, and the fact that he was just this utterly clueless guy who somehow ended up in charge of the Galactic Empire. Yep, beautiful, and yep, they won the event because of that.
You know, if it was up to me, that's how all competitive gaming would be judged, is by who role plays best. Like, you know. The StarCraft 2 or like League of Legends World Finals, all esports, it would just be based on roleplay. What kind of story can you tell me about those Marines? Where are they from? What planet are they from?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This unit throwaway orcs.
Were they on a dance crew when they were younger and they got made fun of it, but now they know how to stutter step really well and that helped you kill those Zerglings? There you go. I'm gonna hand you the trophy.
And what about the Zerglings? You know, were they part of a dance crew?
Yeah. You know, what does Zerglings do in their off time?
Crew. Dance crew.
We've invented a whole new esport here.
Yes.
Rosebud approves of it.
Bring it on, the League of Legends spin-off.
I'd watch it. I'm not going to lie.
I would too.
I've never watched any League of Legends whatsoever, but I would also watch that.
How is there not like a League of Legends anime yet? Like, they need to get on this stuff. Yeah.
I'd argue there's probably not anime, but hentai.
Well, we know that.
I mean,
well, that's true. Dota is actually making an anime now, I think, which like turns out Dota has a plot, I guess. I didn't even.
I can't.
Wait, do these games have plots? I mean, I guess
wasn't aware of that.
Here's the Storm kind of did. Sort of,
no,
maybe.
It's not my thing.
I mean, there was a very loose plot in Heroes of the Storm, yeah. I think they got to a point where they were actually introducing new characters, but yeah.
Doesn't Overwatch have a really complicated plot?
Overwatch does have an interesting plot, which makes me interested to see what the second game's going to be about, because they say there's going to be more single-player content, or more story content, at least.
More versus none.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, well, Rose, other than trying to prevent your entire kitchen from flooding, what have you been up to this week?
I've been playing Stellaris, was trying to record and get a video ready to go out tomorrow of my gameplay. Didn't quite manage it.
Yeah.
Blame the Rosebud. But I will be streaming it tomorrow.
What kind of empire are you playing?
We're a rather evil empire. I'm trying to go for the Crisis.
I'm shocked. Nobody's playing bad guys this patch.
Well, no. If you looked at Old Man Mordaith, he actually has an achievement for, what was it? We Come in Peace.
Oh,
that's his boring. One achievement that I've seen that he's gotten since this came out.
So Maud has got, in the game he's playing, because he's given himself role-play goals, he's given himself the goal of becoming both the Crisis and Galactic Emperor in a single run. So he'll have to become Galactic Emperor and then become the Crisis part.
I
like it.
Interesting.
That's going to be tough.
Yep.
I do want to play like a Rebel Scum game, at some point, before the Emperor. That's definitely on my to-do list. That seems like a path to go down. I want to get my X-Wings to overthrow the Emperor. Seems good.
What are you up to, Lambert?
I've been playing a little bit of Stellaris. I'm actually going to stream some Nemesis as soon as the podcast is over.
And what is your plan?
Playing yet?
Oh, okay.
What race or ethics or whatever? But I'm probably going to be evil. I usually am. Yeah, become the Galactic Emperor sounds like a fine thing to do.
Yeah.
I've also been playing some Imperator multiplayer recently, and streamed that last night. And there was a huge war where literally all of the players are involved, and it's a lot of fun. So that'll be out on YouTube relatively soon.
Nice. Loris, you've already told us a little bit about your Nemesis Empire, but is there anything else you wanted to share about what you've been up to?
Yeah, I have been playing rather a lot of Stellaris since I got my hands on it, and apart from that, I've just been doing like lots of little jobs here and there, little commissions, do a sketch for a comic. Hopefully, it's good. I'm still ironing out if it's funny or not. That's what they always tend to do for a while because they antagonize about
Well, I mean, just
stupid
send it to
things.
the rest of us NoCB cast, and we'll tell you if it's funny or not.
No, I mean, I still take a kind of scientific approach to comics, but it's like you need to hit the comedy beats and make sure the rhythm's good and make sure everyone's emoting really well. I haven't really quite refined it on this one yet, but hopefully I can nail it because it's a funny joke and hopefully publish it this week. Fingers crossed.
So we have opposite philosophies because I just throw a bunch of stuff at a wall and hope some of it will be funny.
See, I used to do that, but the unfunny comics that I publish, they really bite at me still. It's something I just really hate.
I know what you're talking about. Everything I say is always fucking hilarious.
Including the fact that you hate Wassid. That's the most hilarious thing you've ever said.
Oh, you will never, ever let that go, will you?
Actually,
you're always going to be wrong.
Oh,
I just want to point out, not the most hilarious thing he's ever said. The most hilarious thing he's ever said is that Nico Rosberg was an unworthy champion, but...
And you'll never let that one go.
Nope.
I guess he just has an arsenal of terrible things to say.
Oh my god. We nearly got the whole way through. Nearly.
But then you have to bring up Rosberg.
You deserve that.
You deserve it. No, I'm totally in it.
I'm assuming this is a Vroom Vroom race car thing that I...
No, that one was a kicky ball football.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Football, soccer thing.
No, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Arsenal is one of the teams over there. I've actually watched them play because my husband watched
that should also be based on roleplay. The FIFA World Cup, it should just be based on...
have you seen the rolling
That's true. That's true. You know what? It kind of already is. Yeah, no, you're right.
I don't watch anymore.
That's why rugby is the superior sport, and I will ban anyone who disagrees in chat right now.
If you want to watch my stuff, I'm on Twitch TV/LoreSworn Order. We're doing Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Crusader Kings 3 Northern Lords right now. If people want to see me stream some Stellaris Nemesis, let me know. I don't know for sure that I'll have time, but if a lot of people are interested in it, I might. I have a couple ideas that would be fun to do that are weird. I also just released an article that might be of interest to strategy players today on PC Gamer. I think it's one of the best articles I've written in a long time about how Civilization 7 could reinvigorate the Civ franchise in the face of competition. Humankind, and also just the fact that grand strategy games do a lot of things that Civilization tries to do better. In my opinion, Stellaris being one of them, actually. So yeah, that's definitely check that out over on PC Gamer. I was very proud of that, and I think it's a good read.
Genuinely fascinating article.
I don't know if I can say yet, but we are definitely going to be doing something at PDXCon Remixed. More details to come as soon as it's all locked down. So yeah, we'll have time and some dates and stuff in the very near future, hopefully for all of you for that. Until then, we'll see you back this time next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
And thanks to DJ. As always, you are welcome back whenever.
More than welcome.
Pleasure to have you. Always.
Yep.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.